you quitting on me? Well, are you? Then quit!
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Boot Camp series. Today we're going to be talking about Defense 101 inside of Last Epoch, the basics, how can you push corruption, how can you take hits from bosses without dying. And if this is your first time watching a Boot Camp series videos, we have a ton of these about how to craft, how to set up a loot filter, how to stash tab, Offensive 101. We have tons of how-to videos, so check the link in the description below. Okay, we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to start with 3 basics for staying alive. And the first one is your health. You always want as much health as humanly possible inside of Last Epoch. Almost every single build in the game wants a lot of health. And you can see right now on my Necromancer, this is my Golemmancer build, we have 3,800 life. And you can get life from a lot of different sources. You can get it from your passives. You can get it from your gear. You'll see here, I have health on my belt. I got health on my boots. I've got it on my ring. I've got some on my helmet. And you could also get a ton of health from your idols as well. Now, idols are changing for Season 2. You're no longer to be able to get idols like this, double health idols. But at least for Acolyte, you will still see double health idols with their Immortal idol. But ultimately, first thing you want to do when it comes to staying alive is get as much life as humanly possible. Now, the second thing I'm going to show you is also no surprise, and this is going to be a bad example of it, and this is, of course, your resistances. Not only is having a lot of life good, but also getting a lot of resistance. You have fire, lightning, cold, physical, poison, necrotic, and void. And again, you can get resistances from your passive tree, you can get resistances from your idols, you can get resistances from your gear, you can get resistances from your blessings, and these cap out at 75. So looking at my resistances, fire's good, cold's good, physical's good, void's good, poison and necrotic are almost maxed. So when it comes to gearing, I would need to focus on lightning resistance because this one's only 4 off, this one's 6 off, but this one is 30 off. So the second thing you would want to get for Defenses 101 after life would be your resistances. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is this defensive tab right here. If you click, and that is your critical strike avoidance. And you will see that for my build, it is at 102%. This means that enemies, bosses, everyone cannot hit me with a critical strike. So once you hit 100% on this, you will never have to worry about critical hits again. Absolutely awesome for staying alive. Quintessential stat. Also, you can get a 70% if you get a perfect rolled blessing from the Emperor of Corpse's blessing. So you can get 70% of crit avoidance just from one blessing, which means you'll only need 1 affix from your gear. Now, another stat you could get is instead of getting critical strike avoidance, you can come down here and you'll see this reduced bonus damage from crits. This could also be 100%. So if you got this to 100%, it basically works the exact same way as crit avoidance. Critical strikes won't do any damage to you, or it'll just be downgraded to a normal hit. So just know you can get 100% critical strike avoidance or reduced bonus damage from crits. This is a stat that is really great on Sentinel because it's really easy to get 100% just from the implicits on its gear, okay? So, survival, basics, defense 101, the first 3 things, life, resistances, and critical strike avoidance. So now we're going to talk about individual classes and what are some of their best defensive mechanics. And obviously, different builds use different defenses. So again, this is kind of a generic. Now for the Mage class and the Acolyte class, right now, this is my Warlock. The survivability mechanic you will use is Ward. And you see this blue bar right here. Another term for this would be energy shield if you're used to that from another game. But this works really well with intelligence builds, which you normally see for the Mage and for the Acolyte. So you've got your life, you've got your resistances, you've got your crit avoidance, and then you stack another defensive mechanic on that, which is energy shield. Now we are logged into my Sentinel, and the Sentinel is the knight class of Last Epoch. And as you would guess, yes, we use a shield. And what comes with the shield? Block chance and block effectiveness. So this is one of the main defensive mechanics you will see with the Sentinel. that with armor. Now, armor is great for every single class. It is up there with resistances, life, and crit avoidance, but some it's easier to get more armor than other, like for example on the Primalist and the Sentinel. And anytime you have a question about a defensive mechanic, you could literally just highlight it or just mouse over it in your character sheet, and it could tell you exactly what it does. Reduces damage taken from all hits, but not damage over time. Armor is only 70% as effective against non-physical damage, mitigating 45%. And the higher armor you have, the more mitigation that you get. So for the Paladin, not only are we using life, not only are we using crit avoidance, we also have block effectiveness, and armor as added defensive layers. And again, these are also great defensive layers for the Primalist. Moving on to the Rogue, and this one's probably pretty easy to guess. What you're going to want as a secondary defense is dodge. Another secondary defense for rogue classes is what's called Glancing Blow. And Glancing Blow makes it where basically you take 35% less damage. And I will show you that right now. Here is our dodge, so chance to dodge attacks. And then right here is your Glancing Blow. And this is something you really only see on rogue classes. So again, as much life as you could possibly get, resistances, crit avoidance, and then Glancing Blow and dodge on your rogue classes. So now what we're going to talk about is health regen, and this does require a lot of gearing to get right. If you look at my Necromancer right now, I regenerate 708 life per second. That's basically like someone's hitting the potion button over and over again. So I'm going to try and highlight this, that when I take damage, you will see my life. It goes down and then shoots right back up. So obviously you will take damage, and of course once you're later in game you can get one shot, of course, if there's enough damage. But as long as the damage does not kill you, your life will regenerate. And you know, obviously you just can't stand in a ton of stuff, but as long as you are paying attention, it is very, very hard for stuff to kill you. Right now I'm just standing in all of this crap, and you will notice again, it's like my life just keeps pinging down and then shoots right back up. Health regen is a very fun survivability mechanic. Last but not least, we're going to be talking about endurance, and we are logged into my Druid Werebear. And I feel like endurance, a lot of people use it, but not a lot of people fully understand it. Now for endurance, you need to spec into two different affixes. You have endurance percent and you have endurance threshold. Now, the way this works is once your life hits your endurance threshold, you take less damage by your endurance percent. Aaron, say that again. All right, you're in combat. You have 3,400 health. You drop to 2,000 health. You drop to 1,500 health. The second your Werebear has 1,073 life, it will take 58% less damage. It makes you very, very tanky when you are low life. So yeah, you'll take a lot of damage. Yeah, you'll be scared because your life is down, but all that damage that comes in for your last 1,000 damage is reduced by half. That doesn't include all of your resistances, your armor, your damage mitigation. So it makes you very, very hard to kill, but you have to invest a lot. You have to invest in endurance percent and endurance threshold. So a lot of people normally don't focus on endurance, even though it is very, very strong. All right, everyone, that's the video. Defenses 101. Get your core defenses, then based upon your class, your mastery, your build, find those added defensive layers to allow you to push corruption and kill those bosses. In the comment section, let me know if you have any questions or thoughts about this video. Also on actionrpg.com, we have an entire section for crafting, how to make a loot filter, defenses, offensive 101s. So there's a lot of information there as well. Or you could join my Discord, Action RPG. Over 4,500 members. We do community events, game nights, movie nights. You could also ask me directly if you have any questions. So that's it. I'm hoping this boot camp video helped. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.